This show is made possible by support from landsharks.ca. Visit them for all your coin and swag needs at www.landsharks.ca. And by viewers like you. Thank you for your donations.
History caching, news caching, and gold caching. It's May 7th, 2011. This is Trackfiles. Hi there, and welcome to Trackfiles. I'm your host, Icenrye. Trackfiles is a podcast featuring caching news, upcoming events, major milestones, YouTube videos, and podcast rewind. My website is trackfiles.tv. My email address is geoicenrye@icenrye.com. You can follow me on Twitter at Trackfiles, and if you're a fan of the show, make sure you sign up for the Trackfiles Facebook fan page. So, what's new? Well, the big news is my new cache was approved. Doctor Who, the Second Doctor, part of a great series. It turns out there's going to be 12 of these caches hidden all throughout North America. And as I mentioned before, the object is you find an even number cache and it'll give you the west coordinates, and if you find an odd number cache, it'll give you the north coordinates. So the caches are slowly getting published, and I believe the nearest one to Prince George is somewheres in Oregon. So if you're a Prince George area cacher and you want to find that final Doctor Who cache, well, you're going to have to do a bit of traveling or perhaps call a friend. Not that I'm suggesting anything. Also, a week from tomorrow, on the 15th of May, there's going to be a meet and greet event here in Prince George with British cachers Hobo and Miss. They've come all the way from Plymouth, England, and they're touring the west coast of Canada. They're going to be heading up to Prince George, and we got a room booked, and we're really looking forward to meeting folks from the other side of the pond and telling them some great stories about caching here in the Prince George area. And I'll have the camera there, so check out Trackfiles 2 weeks from now. And I should have some great highlights from this meet and greet. But that's enough small talk for now. Let's get into the meat of the show. Let's get in caching news. Caching news. First we read in the Desoto Times Tribune. Modern day treasure hunt. Tourism officials kick off Tourism Week. In the spirit of Spanish explorer Hernando de Soto, DeSoto County Tourism Association Executive Director Kem Terrell rustles through the tall grass in search of hidden treasure. Just a few paces to the north, then south, then north again, Terrell retraces her steps, squinting and reading at her smartphone, which gives her the coordinates to the so-called treasure. It's a modern-day treasure hunt, Terrell said, wiping the sweat from her brow as she combed through the mulch near a stop sign in front of the DeSoto County Jail. The geocaching exercise is helping kick off National Tourism Week, which starts today and goes through May 17th. Terrell and Assistant Director Susan Fernandez are among the thousands of people who enjoy the increasingly popular hobby of geocaching, or searching for hidden objects using global positioning device. Yet Terrell has a mission to promote the area as tourist destinations while people are searching for treasure. There are more than 1 million caches in the world, and we have 4,500 in DeSoto County, Terrell said. It can be a treasure box, but it can also be as small as a nano, which is about 1.5 inch capsule. They are really any size. Terrell says geocaching enthusiasts can log into sodesoto.com and take part in the latest geocaching adventure, the DeSoto Trail. If participants are able to find all 7 geocaches, they are eligible to become a Conquistador crew member. So there you go, folks, another article on geotourism and how it's affecting small towns and small areas. And actually stay tuned, because I have a very interesting article on geotourism coming up a little later in this episode of Trackfiles. So next we travel to Grand Junction, Colorado to KKCO, where we read, Modern day treasure hunt gaining popularity in Valley. A modern day treasure hunt, geocaching, is turning a growing number of Grand Valley families into bona fide explorers and showing them the western slopes in a whole new way. So folks, this is a television report. I got the whole report right here for you on Trackfiles.
New at 10 tonight, a modern day treasure hunt. Geocaching is turning a growing number of Grand Valley families into bona fide explorers and making them see the western slope in a whole new way. 11 News reporter Tim Ciesco joining us live in the newsroom with more on this. Tim.
Well, many of you have probably never heard the term geocaching before, so here's how it works. Small objects or caches are hidden all over the valley. Their GPS coordinates entered into a website that people can access. Then using some type of GPS device, people go out and search for them, log that they found them, and put them back for other folks to find. And as you can see, there is no short supply of geocaches to cache in on. Whether it's digging behind a grocery store or hiking along a little-known riverfront trail, geocachers say there's always an adventure to be had.
I've found places around here in the last 5 years that I had no idea were here.
Roger Ames and his family got the bug after they tried geocaching for the first time several years ago. They haven't looked back since.
I've, like 700 plus caches.
And an ever-increasing number of others aren't too far behind.
Locally, it's blossoming into a whole world of its own. It's getting recognition, more and more recognition every day.
Today, Ames is hunting with a group of geocachers he met through a Facebook page, people he's become close friends with.
You're finding views that you would otherwise never find. You're meeting new people.
One of them, Clay Greathouse, has become such a geocaching fanatic, he's using it to help promote his own and other local businesses.
I'm going to have people go to those businesses to get the coordinates from them, then go out and find the cache.
With hundreds of caches hidden, a hop, skip, and a jump from home, or even 6 miles into the mountains, they say the possibilities for adventure are endless. And though the caches might not look like your standard treasure, the real prize?
I just love the adventure of it.
And it's an adventure all kinds of people love. Some of the geocaching regulars tell me they know families with young kids that do it every weekend. They also know senior citizens that like to go out and do it. And the other great thing about geocaching, apart from the gas you use to get places, it's a relatively cheap activity to do. Jean, we'll send it back to the desk.
All right, thanks, Tim. Even if you didn't have a GPS device, you can still geocache. Several smartphones and even iPads have free geocaching apps. You can also print off a map and just start searching.
So another great television report on our sport of caching, and as usual, visit my website, trackfiles.tv, for a link to the full video. So our final news article, we head down to the lily pad in Seattle where we meet up with the Groundspeak crew and the brand new look geocaching.com website. And if you don't remember the news, they added a couple hamsters to the server there earlier this past week, and now it's just that much faster, and they redesigned the user interface, and the site is very good looking, works very well. And earlier in the week, they published a video on some of the upcoming changes, and you can have a look at this video and see what's new on the website. As usual, I'll have my link on my website, trackfiles.tv, where you can check this out. Well, that wraps it up for news. Time for this episode's YouTube video. YouTube video time. And for this episode's video, we're heading down to Gold Country, just south of Prince George, where we meet up with Gold Country Tourism and their great Geo Trail. Now, if you haven't heard of it, the Gold Country Geo Trail has been around since about 2009 and was one of the earliest examples of a tourism body using geocaching to promote tourism in their area. Now, last spring I had a chance to go down and find some of these caches, and it is a great series. And what convinced me to go down? Well, first off, this video that I'm about to show you here on Trackfiles is very well done. So I'm going to run it for you, the geocaching public, and hopefully it'll convince you to either head down or come on up to Gold Country here in British Columbia and check out some geocaching. So ladies and gentlemen, from Trackfiles and Gold Country Caching, I present this great YouTube video.
Welcome to Gold Country. Wonderfully wild, amazingly diverse.
It's just a magic place.
Nestled in the heart of British Columbia, this region stretches from the deserts of Merritt to the mighty mountain peaks of Lillooet and beyond. It is a trove of lost landmarks that echo with stories of the region's early gold questing settlers.
People need to understand that there's a reason that people live up here.
And with its new Geotourism Program, Gold Country is now yours to discover. And what better way to begin this adventure than with an organized scavenger hunt that takes you directly to unexplored sites of significance?
You have to check out this geotourism program. It is a one-of-a-kind in the province.
Right now there are more than 70 geocache containers hidden in trees and under rocks, just waiting to be found.
Adventure! It's like a treasure you're finding.
It's fun because it brings me out to places like this.
The hiding and finding of these containers is known as geocaching. Seekers worldwide locate caches using GPS coordinates that are published online.
You get that whole treasure hunt bug and the excitement.
Found it!
But this is geocaching with a difference. In Gold Country, they have added a clever twist.
they were able to bring people and tell people a story.
Everybody is loving the fact that we are telling them about the history.
Every site has a written history. Learn how a volcano erupted 10,000 years ago to form the chasm in which you stand. Or walk in the footsteps of an early pioneer as the story of their struggles illuminates the location.
It's just the amount of information and stuff they researched has just been great.
That's part of our heritage, that's part of our history, and with the kids seeing it, we're giving it to them now.
And best of all, it's free. To begin your journey, log onto the Gold Country Geotourism website. Here you will find 2 possible ways to locate the caches hidden around Gold Country. You can download the coordinates and then use a portable GPS system to pinpoint them.
142 meters.
Or you can use traditional clues to begin solving the mystery. It's up to you.
4, 5, that's about 5 meters.
This is it.
Inside each cache, you will find a logbook to record your find, as well as a selection of toys and trinkets left by other cachers to trade.
It's interesting what people leave.
You will also find some stickers. Collect 24 of these in the area and send off for your unique Gold Country souvenir prize.
Another 10 to go and we're done, and we can send it in and get our gold bar.
We've been able to use our quads, dirt bikes, walking, hiking.
It's getting people active. It's allowing families to spend more time together.
It is fun to do, it's cheap,
and it brings you to areas we never would have gone to before.
It's the first time I've ever been here.
My favorite aspect of the program is the enjoyment people are getting out of learning about all of our little treasures in this region.
So what a great video, and they actually have a whole series of videos on Gold Country geocaching. And as usual, visit my website, trackfiles.tv, for a link to this and more of their videos. So now that I've got you all excited for caching, let's find some events to go to. Time for this episode's event planner. Geocaching event calendar. All these events are scheduled for next Saturday, May 14th, 2011. First we start in Bayern, Germany for the Outdoor Cacher Event, hosted by Sammy84 and quadgary. From there we head to Northern Scotland for the first Campout of summer, hosted by Will and Carol. Next we head to Indiana for We Want to See More in Seymour, hosted by Dorothy and Scarecrow. Next we're off to Wyoming for the annual brunch in Buford, Population 1, hosted by Team SCR. Next we go to New Brunswick for breakfast at the Red Rooster, hosted by YNDS. And finally we go to Ontario for the Energy Celtic Lunch, hosted by Energy. So there you go, folks, just some of the many events scheduled for next Saturday, May 14th. And as usual, if you have an upcoming event you'd like featured, email me, geoicenrye@icenrye.com, and I'll feature it on an upcoming episode of Trackfiles. So now that you have your travel plan set, time for some listening material. Time for this episode's Podcast Rewind. Podcast Rewind, looking back at this past week in caching podcasts. First we start with Caching Maniacs, where Daryl and Dre interview VP Pat of Fredericton, New Brunswick. He dreams of caching in Scotland someday, but recommends his fellow cachers try the Maritimes. From there, we go to the Geocaching podcast, where they have the May Cacher Coffee episode, and talk about the new updates to the geocaching.com website that created a clean-looking user interface. And finally, we visit with the Twin Cities Geocaching podcast, where they have a report from Breakfast Buddies, April 30th, 2011. So there you go. As usual, visit my website, trackfiles.tv, for a link to all these podcasts. Well, that about wraps up another episode of Trackfiles, but before I go, just a few quick notes. First off, shout out to Landsharks for the continuing support of the Trackfiles podcast. Make sure you visit them at landsharks.ca for all your coin and caching needs. Also, I have to thank the financial contributors to the podcast. Folks, without your contributions, Trackfiles would not be possible. And if you would like to contribute to the podcast, it's very easy. Just visit my website, trackfiles.tv, and look for the PayPal buttons on the right side menu bar. But in the meantime, and in between time, that's it. Another episode of the Trackfiles podcast. So, until the next episode, cache on.